Welcome to Honest Hockey, where it's two guys talk about all things hockey. Honestly. I'm Tom. I don't have the other Tom with me. And thanks for joining me today. So today we're back. We're going to talk some hockey. The league is starting up again. We got preseason hockey starting in like a week. And we bring in a special guest, our Islanders contributor to the site, Moose, also known as Joe. Moose, how are you?
Doing great, Tom. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm very excited to be here. Very excited to talk some hockey, and very excited for the season to get underway.
Yeah, no, I'm. It's bittersweet because I feel like it just ended and I needed a break, and I'm finally getting into the Jets swing of things, and now I got to pay attention to the Rangers. I'm not. I can't handle all this. I'm just getting over the emotional distress the Mets are putting me through. I don't need more of this emotional distress.
But you look at it this way. Yeah, you're just getting over that Mets emotional stress. But in about 3 weeks, you'll probably be going through some more Jets emotional distress, and now you'll have the Rangers to look forward to hopefully, well, in my eyes, hopefully, emotionally distress you more.
Yeah, they probably will because they play in the Metro. They play against the Islanders. So let's talk about the Islanders. How do you think the offseason went? Because we know you've had a little bit of a hurdle overcoming Tampa, trying to get into the Stanley Cup Finals. They've been your kryptonite. So how do you think the Islanders offseason went, and does it position them better to finally dethrone Tampa?
So I'm glad that you invited me on now, because if you would have invited me on about 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you how the Islanders offseason went because we still had no clue. Uh, as the meme goes on Isles Twitter, Lou is sleeping. But yeah, I was relatively impressed with the offseason. Let me do a quick little pull up of the exact numbers, but losing Eberle's going to sting. I mean, his contract was a bit of I don't want to say an albatross because he still performed, but it's a replaceable contract, and we needed that money to re-sign some of the bigger pieces.
Let me ask you: would you
But
rather Seattle have taken Everly or Bailey?
the the diehard in me says I'm happy with that I took Eberle because I did
Just
not want to
because
give
you
it to
want to
Josh
hear, "Hey,
Bailey.
Josh Bailey," yeah, yeah.
I want Josh Bailey to break Trottier's record for most games played as an Islander. So if it had to be one of the two of them, I am happier that they took Eberle. That doesn't mean that I'm happy they took him, but um, replacing his cap hit with Kyle Palmieri, who I think is at 4 years at 5 million, is a bit steep, but you're looking to win now. For 2 years, that contract's not going to kill you, and if he can get back to his normal form, I think he shot significantly under his career averages last year. So if he can bounce back to even slightly below his averages, maybe have a 25, 30 goal season would be incredible. 25 goal season, I'd be more than happy with that, especially if you have him playing with Barzell and Lee on the top line. Bavillier coming back at a 4.15 for 3 years. I love it. It's a
Absolutely perfect contract.
perfect contract. You can see if he's going to be the real deal, if his playoff form carries into the regular season, and if he can keep that playoff form up on a hopeful another deep run this year. And then this is the contract where you're hoping that in 3 years when he's a UFA, you'll want to pay him 7.5, 8 million
Right.
because he's taking that next step. Who else we got? Casey Zizekas, 2.5 a year for 6 years. Obviously, seeing 6 years on a fourth line center is never ideal for anyone
Yeah,
except for the Islanders.
I was gonna say feeling I saw when the Rangers signed Barkley Goodrow.
Exactly. The Goudreau contract, I was critical of it myself, but with Zizekas at that cap hit, it's easily variable or buyoutable if in like year 3 or 4 if need be. And if that's what you need to pay him to get him at a lower cap, I think they were talking 5 million he was asking for from Seattle. So to get him at 2.5, and before anyone says anything, I know that number was probably just I'm not leaving the island, so unless you give me an exorbitant amount of
Yeah,
money.
if you giving me the bread, I'll leave. But other than that, no, I ain't going
Exactly.
anywhere.
Exactly. So to have him back as, you know, best fourth line in hockey, or as NBC liked to call it, and we all hated hearing them call it, the identity line.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
having that stay together for another year is pretty great.
Hold on,
And I'm not
question:
gonna. Yes.
does the identity line get transferred over to the ESPN broadcast now, or did that die with NBC?
I think it would be more likely that it would transfer over to the TNT broadcast,
Okay, all right, yeah, fair.
because I see TNT being more in line with NBC than
NBC, yeah, I
ESPN.
agree.
But I can see them keeping that because they're not going to shut up about the perfection line. So,
No.
which is why I hope we don't play the Bruins in the playoffs again this year. But I
I'm glad.
digress.
I'm glad that that '70s line is done with, because that gave me PTSD.
Mm,
And
I
then
won't say anything.
the Tyler Johnson Kucherov Palat line of the young guys. I forgot what they called that line. Stop naming lines.
What were they? Were they the triplets?
The triplets. Yes, thank you. The triplets.
Yeah, they were as annoying to you as the Goudreau, Coleman, Gord line was to me.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that all three of them are no longer in Tampa Bay.
Hmm.
But yeah, Zekas, happy with that contract. Sneaky little player that I think might start the season as a 13th forward, but I could see him sneaking in, getting some game time. Richard Ponik coming over in the Nick Leddy trade.
Yep.
He could either be serviceable trade bait because Detroit retained half salary, so it's only got a 1.375 cap hit. But he at that cap hit, he's not a bad fourth liner, third liner, extra forward. Like he can play up and down in that bottom six, which would be very useful to give maybe Matt Martin a break one day,
Yeah.
Cal Clutterbuck, Parise. I'm assuming is going to be needing a break at some point.
I've seen a lot worse players get daily entrances into lineups than Richard Panik.
Absolutely. So having him as like an extra forward is not. It's definitely not the end of the world. But speaking of a man that he might replace in the lineup for rest, Zach Parise, who contract details we still don't know. Everything I've been hearing is that it's league minimum with potential bonuses factored in for games played, total point totals, etc. But if you ask Cap Friendly, they still have him as a UFA but signed.
So
So
he is a member of the Islanders. We can confirm that we have seen him on Long Island.
and if you want to know for sure that he's a member of the Islanders, don't check Islanders Twitter because their official Twitter never even tweeted out that he's an Islander. They just tweeted his first interview with the team, saying Zach Parise is excited to be on the Islanders. And it's like, okay, he's on the Islanders now. Okay.
Zach, if you're listening to this, call us and let us know what your contract details are. That would be fantastic.
That would be wonderful. And then you get to what I think is the biggest contract that the Islanders made this year, and that's Adam Pellick's deal. Now, Tom, you know me for a while.
Yeah.
You know that although it started out as a bit of a meme about
Pellick
4 years
gang.
ago, Pellick gang is real.
Yeah,
He
no,
has
you're right.
gone from being my quote unquote favorite player to legitimately being the next Islander jersey that I'm gonna buy.
Okay, so you were in on Adam Pellick way before anybody else even thought he was good. We used to meme on you because we thought that Adam Pellick was getting too many minutes, or you were making the lines because he was getting first pair minutes, and now he is literally the Islanders' best defenseman, and it's not even close.
If Norris voting wasn't so point reliant, or not even just point reliant, but driving play reliant.
So you're saying if there was a defensive award for best defenseman,
if the defenseman award was for the best defenseman, then Adam Pellick would have absolutely gotten votes this year. I believe it was Elliot Friedman that said he regrets not putting Pellick on his ballot, which just shows the lengths that he's come since. This is the same player that we had under Doug Weight, who was a liability on the ice.
Yeah.
Bring Barry Trotz in, bring the new system in, and him and Ryan Pollock have become, if not the best defensive pair in the league, then arguably top three, at the very least top five. I'd argue top three.
I would argue that as well. Yeah.
But so getting him back on an 8-year deal, from a selfish standpoint, makes me ecstatic. But from a just logical standpoint, it's the best deal that we could have done, especially after seeing the contracts that defensemen got this offseason.
Yeah. Seth Jones's contract. Those contracts, Zach Werenski, yeah, those contracts make me afraid to give Adam Fox a contract.
The thing with Fox, whatever he gets, he'll deserve it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the number won't be pretty.
No.
But
he should get just give him the same contract Cale Makar got.
I want to say, I think what I was seeing as well. Hang on. Because I'm pretty sure that on the topic of bad contracts and the crazy defenseman contracts, I believe, Adam Pellick and Darnell Nurse have the same agent.
Do they really?
They have the exact same agent, and one of them got an incredibly team-friendly deal, and one of them got
Did not.
paid.
Yeah,
And then the last real signing that we made, Ilya Sorokin, 3 years, $4 million. I think that will be a good deal. Like, if he continues his trajectory of how he played in his first NHL season,
yeah,
it'll be a good deal. Doubling his salary from last year. It's a little concerning having your goalie who played, I believe, 22 games, making $4 million. But as you saw in the Pittsburgh series, he completely turned. Bringing him in as the starter in that series completely changed the course of
absolutely.
round one. And I think he will be worth that contract, if not later this year, then at the very least by the start of next season.
Yeah, you're with that contract, you're kind of betting on the upside rather
Exactly.
than the current.
Exactly. I think it's, while I think Shesterkin is a little more proven at this point, and that's not even arguable, I'd say it's a similar-ish situation
Agreed.
where, not a ton of NHL experience, but their resume in the KHL it speaks for itself. So you
Yes.
feel comfortable giving that amount of money that they can grow into that type of player in the NHL.
We have Islanders,
Yep.
looking to kind of improved a little bit, I think you could say, but more just kind of stay the course of a team that was really, really good the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Where do you stack them up in the Metro?
So I think I was looking at over under odds makers, and they have us with the best odds in the Metro this
Okay.
year. It's gonna be tight. I think top three, it'll be Islanders, and this is in no particular order. I just think that the top three spots will be a combination of these three teams. Islanders, Carolina, if the goalies stay healthy, which you
Yep.
and I discussed before the show started, like that's the biggest question mark for them.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna go wildly off the board. Philadelphia Flyers. Carter Hart
I
turns it
was thinking
around,
that too.
gets back to his normal form. Martin Jones
Yeah.
in a reduced role is a very good backup, and Philly ends up making it into a guaranteed playoff spot.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking Philly as well because the only thing that could hinder them is if Kataha isn't great and their
Exactly.
goaltending, and they got rid of Ghost Bear and they brought in Ryan Ellis, and who else they bring in?
Risto.
Risto, right? Yep. So
Swapping out Voracek for Cam Atkinson.
for Cam Atkinson, I'm a Cam Atkinson fan.
I love Cam Atkinson.
I think it's kind of a wash with Risto and Ghost Bear.
Yeah, because everyone always said about Risto, oh, he's on Buffalo. That's why he's looking so bad. His underlying numbers have not been good, even
No.
taking into account the team that he played for.
Yes.
I like Risto a lot. I hope he turns it around on a better team, but just numbers wise, it's not looking that way at all.
Yeah, no, agreed. So I think Philly has the biggest boomer bust potential. Like they could literally finish first in the Metro, and they could literally finish, dead last.
Right. They're
Um,
for sure.
what do you thought? What are your thoughts on the Devils? Because there's been a lot of talk coming out of Devils camp where they're chirping pretty hard, and I think they need to just quiet down a little bit.
The Devils, they have one of those sneaky good rosters. I don't know, man. They're gonna be, at the very least, they'll be in the hunt until the last month or two of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Hughes continues his trajectory,
Yep.
Sharon Govich had a great year last year.
My guy, Yegor Sharangovich.
Yegor Sharangovich, if he can keep it up. Thomas Tatar, I think, was a really
That
weird
was a
signing.
phenomenal under the radar signing that nobody talked about.
Yeah, because he was terrible in the playoffs. Oh, he was scratched. This Vegas scratched him. Montreal scratched him. He's terrible. He's a very sturdy, solid hockey player, and for a young team like New Jersey, having his veteran presence there, it will be paramount for them. I think
Absolutely.
he'll be a very, very good force for them. Bringing in Dougie, that is a perfect fit.
Yep.
Having someone to be that true number one defenseman for them, with again a very young team. The underrated defensive pickup this year, Ryan Graves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Getting him
Former
from
Rangers legend
Colorado.
Ryan Graves.
What was it? Ryan Graves for Chris Bigras?
Yeah, yeah. Which,
Yep.
if you're a player of NHL, Chris Bigras always had high potential for no reason.
He did. I think bringing in Jonathan Bernier as well, just take a little bit of the load off of Blackwood.
Mm-hmm.
That was perfect. Like he's the perfect goalie to pair up with your young potential future star goalie, who's not even potential future star. He's had some star moments and some very good seasons already in his young
Yeah.
career.
No,
So
agreed.
having
I'm a
a
big Mackenzie
very
Blackwood
good
fan.
1A with him,
Yeah.
like him and Bernier in a 1A 1B is going to be, they'll be a tough tandem to score against. Honestly.
Yeah. No, agreed. All right. Continuing with the Metro theme, what seems to be the talk of the offseason, the Hurricanes offer sheet.
I love it.
I love it too, but I can't help but think that, like, yes, it was great. It was a meme. It was hilarious. I kind of think Carolina screwed themselves with this offer sheet.
If it was a multi-year contract, I would fully agree. The fact of the matter is, with the Hurricanes, they had the cap space for it this year. The talk is that as of right now, the Canes and Kakaniemi, once they're able to, will come to an agreement on a maybe, I think they said like 3 or 4 year deal in like the 3.5 to 4 million range,
Okay.
which is much
Much
more
better.
in Kakaniemi's wheelhouse.
Yes.
I believe Don Waddell said that we never discussed future, but like NHL GMs are notorious for lying, so
Mhm.
I highly doubt that that's the case. So yeah, Kakaniemi at 6.1 million is ridiculous,
Yeah, not great. But
but it's on a 1 year deal.
right, if it goes to a multi-year deal between 3 and 4 million, then I think that's absolutely
It's
fine.
fine, and I think having him on, we always meme about having people with the same nationality like that helps out. That's all that. Having him with Seabass, having him with
Mhm.
Teravainen, I think that'll like help boost his confidence at least a little bit. And
Yep.
we were talking about it earlier. He'll be on. He's projected right now to be on a line with Jordan Stahl and Jesper Fast.
Yes.
Which
So congrats to Jordan Stahl for potentially being the first center in NHL history to be centering a Jesper and a Jesperi.
that is an absolutely historic moment.
I kind of look at him as like a Martin Nikosh type of player who, like,
Yeah,
if he takes the step forward that Nikosh did last year, oh man, he's gonna absolutely outperform that contract that they're about to give him.
exactly. I mean, look at that. Yeah, his point totals aren't great. He's not a third overall pick, but 171 games for a 21-year-old plus 29 playoff games. That's not nothing. That's a nice little bit of NHL action already. 62 points. While it's not incredible, look at the situation he was in Montreal. It seems like every young potential star that goes to Montreal has a falling out with either Bergevin or whoever the
Yep.
head coach is at the time, or
Yep.
just something happens where they fall out of favor and they need a change of scenery. And I think a change of scenery is absolutely the best thing for Kakaniemi. And everyone was talking about on the other end of this offer sheet, the first and the third going to Montreal, and then how they moved picks to Arizona for why is his name Dvorak?
Christian Dvorak, yeah.
I forgot if it was Dvorak or Fisher. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving a first and I believe it was a second, correct?
Yes.
For Christian Dvorak, who I'm not overly high on for that price.
No.
Everyone is talking about how it was a very solid trade. And look, he's a good player. He can get you 20 goals. He can be a serviceable center.
And I mean, he played in Arizona, where I'm not gonna lie, I have not seen enough Arizona recently to be able to make a full, statement on his player, because just one, it's in Arizona, and B, I don't really care about the Coyotes as a team.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I get that. Like
But
he's been
I mean,
serviceable there, but
yeah, but I don't know. Montreal has just, yes, they made the Cup final, but they have been doing business backwards, it seems like, recently.
the only way that I justify that price for him, which again, he is a very solid NHL player. He's exactly what they needed, a good two-way center who can play middle 6 minutes, probably be your second line center. I think they said Drew Wen's going to be getting some time in that center this year. So you have him in there. You need to bring in a defensive-minded center as well, or someone who's at least defensively responsible, considering you're losing Philip Deneau. And the fact that you needed all of those things from a center player, you're going to have to pay more of a premium to get it.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I don't know. Would you rather have Philippe Deneau, or would you rather have Christian Dvorak? I'd rather have Dino.
I would rather have Danault
The
too.
defensively reliable.
I would too, but also considering Montreal went to the Cup final, this is how I'm looking at it now as well. They went to the Cup final. You can say it was deserved or not. It was absolutely deserved because they beat the teams and they made it there. Like you can't say
Yeah.
it's not deserved. But make it to the Cup final for this year. Say what you want about them. They're going to be trying to push for the playoffs again. So in a playoff push year, would you rather your 2C be your your 1 or 2C be Jesperi Kotkaniemi or Christian Dvorak? For this singular season, I would say Dvorak.
Dvorak, I would agree. For the future, probably Kotkaniemi, but I don't think Kotkaniemi would have developed in Montreal.
I agree,
I think,
and they would have at this point, if he stayed in Montreal, they would have hoped that he developed into the player that Dvorak already is. So you know what? I
right.
think I just talked myself into liking the Christian Dvorak trade.
All right, yeah, Chris, great job, Montreal. Fantastic trade for Dvorak. But no, I agree. And like going back to the point with Kotkaniemi, it seems like Carolina has become kind of. We were discussing this in the pre-show lobby. With if you relate it in terms of soccer, they feel like they've become kind of like a Borussia Dortmund type of feeder club of like developing the talent that other teams couldn't develop, and then letting them really prosper down there without like the big lights and the big cameras and Rod the Bod coaching them.
So what you're saying is that Jesperi Kotkaniemi is the next coming of Erling Haaland.
I don't. They're both Scandinavian.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I think that you're onto something.
Moving out of the Metro, what teams in the entire league do you think impressed you the most and improved the most at their chances of going towards the ultimate goal of winning a Stanley Cup?
The Arizona Coyotes. You didn't say when, and the fact that they have 9 draft picks in the first 2 rounds this year, like 7 draft picks, whatever. They're going to be shoo-ins for the 2027 Stanley Cup final.
I can't wait for the 2027 Stanley Cup final, honestly. When they're not in Arizona,
which is going to be sad because I kind of like them in Arizona. They've grown on me.
I kind of like that they had a new arena name every year. Is it still the Gia River Arena GoDaddy.com thing?
Well, I mean, they don't really have an arena anymore, but...
Well, that's true. You're correct.
But that arena is still called the Gia River Arena.
Okay. All right. Cool. So wait, are they playing? Are they because they're in Glendale, right?
They're in Glendale.
Are they leaving Glendale after this season?
I don't know exactly the timeline.
Or are they kind of just going to put a rink in the desert and just be like, YOLO, let's play here?
I would like to see them do that. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Knowing the ice problems the NHL had at Lake Tahoe, though, don't know how good that'll go.
Yeah, that would be a bit difficult. But, yeah, no, I think they're trying to secure something like closer to civilization in Arizona. But that poor team, like as a fan of a team that's had arena troubles for the majority of my lifetime, I feel their pain. It sucks, and I hope that they do get a new home soon because the fans in Arizona, like everyone can meme on them and say like, oh, they like no one goes to see hockey in the desert, blah blah blah. Fact of the matter is, Austin Matthews is from Arizona, and the Coyotes, more likely than not, play a significant role into him getting as interested in hockey as he inevitably became.
You know what? Thinking about it, the fact that Austin Matthews is a superstar from Arizona is the baseball equivalent of like Mike Trout being from Alaska. Like hockey is not played in.
I was thinking you were saying Mike Trout was from Alaska.
No, he's not. He's not. He's from Jersey. But like hockey is cold weather sport being played in a warm weather city, and like baseball is a warm weather sport that would be being played in the negative 30-degree tundra of Alaska.
You're absolutely right. That is a genuine equivalent and a good comparison. And the Coyotes played a big role in that.
Yeah, somehow.
On a
Winnipeg Jets played a big role in that.
They did. On a slightly more serious note, I like what St. Louis did. I really like how they've been like shaping up. If only for Buchnevich, like I'm not just saying that to be a jerk to you. I genuinely think them bringing him in and getting him at the cap hit that they did was a really, really shrewd move. I think
Agreed.
it was either earlier today or yesterday they brought back Tyler Bozak, who, he's
Hit
not
him with the
great.
Bozak.
He is not great, but league minimum for a defensively reliable center, that's solid.
Yep.
Still don't know what they're going to do about Tarasenko, but
Yeah, I was just going to ask you 2 questions here. What are they doing with Tarasenko, and what are the Wild doing with Kirill Kaprizov?
I was going to get to the Wild soon because, as you know, they're my Western Conference team.
Yeah.
But Tarasenko, I have no idea. I figured he'd be gone as soon as they signed Brandon Saad because
Yep.
that fills their top 6 winger role.
I thought when they traded for Booch, he was gone the next minute.
Exactly. So yeah, he's not coming to the Islanders anymore. That's for sure. Because
Nope. But thank God, thank the Lord. You
no
know how
space
much
in
I
the
love
top 6.
Tarasenko.
You would have hated everything about hockey.
Yes.
There's no space in our top 6, and we don't have the cap space for him. So I really don't know who he's going to end up going to. Like, from everything that we've heard, it's his time in St. Louis is irreparable. Because like if you don't trust the team doctors anymore, like what's the point of playing there?
Agreed.
As for the Wild and Kaprizov, that is a weird situation because like 3 weeks ago, everything was like, oh, he's got a 5-year, $45 million contract on the table. It's going to be signed soon. He'll be good to go. You'll see Kaprizov at training camp. We're fine, blah, blah, blah. And then I think yesterday, Bill Guerin came out and said that things are a little murky with the negotiations right now. It's not totally clear what's going on. We're going to like figure out what's going to happen. We'll, we're working towards it, but basically no news on it, which considering Minnesota plays in 10 days, their first preseason game of 2021, that's not good.
You should probably get a hurry on that.
Yeah, like this is the best player that you've had in years in terms of like flashiness, probably since Gabrick.
Agreed.
In terms of just what you mean to the team and like how good you were for the team, probably since prime Mikko Koivu.
Mikko Koivu, yep.
And you still haven't agreed. Now, I don't know if that's because of him demanding too much or wanting a little shorter terms so that way he can hit free agents UFA sooner or what. I know that the KHL option I don't believe is on the table because of certain reasons that I'd read about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I believe something about whatever it is. My memory's a little foggy, but whatever it is, I saw that the Russian option's not on the table.
Okay.
So he would have to re-sign with the Wild. So
or sit out.
exactly, pull a Willie Nylander.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with him, but they got to figure that out soon because you cannot go into the season with your best player unsigned.
Minnesota
and want any chance at making the playoffs.
Minnesota, you will if you don't work this out with Kirill, you will never get a player of his capability and his talent level ever fall into your hands again. So you cannot let this go on. You sign him to whatever this man wants, and I guarantee you it'll be worth it.
Yeah, like right now you don't have a ton to worry about in terms of like cap. Next year is going to be a little different, or 2 years from now rather, is going to be a little different when the Parise and Suter buyout penalties hit. But
Right.
but even still, that's like would have been factored in if you wouldn't have bought them out anyway. So it doesn't really change your course of action too much. So just figure out what works. If you need to give a little bit more to make sure that he comes back, give him the 9.5, give him the 9.75, whatever. If it's like squabbling over $1 million at that point,
just do
give
it.
it to him.
Just do it.
To him. That would
Agreed.
it would be a shame to see the most promising player that they've had in decades, decade plus, leave because of a little bit of money issue.
Yeah. So let me ask this. Just last question I'll bring up. This just kind of dawned into my head.
Mm-hmm.
Could a system in hockey work similar to a system for world soccer, where you can do transfers between leagues? Would that ever be able to work in hockey?
That would I think it would be difficult to attain because like with soccer, you have FIFA, so you have all the leagues are interconnected under one giant
One
branch.
branch, correct.
So it's easier to be able to move contracts and work out deals with other leagues because you go through the main hub of FIFA.
Right.
If the IIHF,
International Ice Hockey Federation.
yep, one if they became more competent because they're the whole Olympics handling for the last however many years is not instilled much faith in them with me. But you would need to like get them to agree to take all those leagues under the wing. So like the DEL, KHL, the Liga, SHL, all that.
Yeah.
It would be tough, but it would be that would be interesting if you could. Imagine if your boy Danny Austin-Birken would be able
I
to
was just
just
thinking,
go,
Danny. That was my one thing was Danny Austin-Birken.
would just be able to go from who did he play? Would he play
Red
for
Bull.
Red Bull?
Red Bull, yeah.
To go from Red Bull to like the Coyotes because their goalie situation they don't have. I think Carter Hutton's their starting goalie.
Yeah.
So
That would be like it
that'd be
would be
awesome.
hard. It would be hard because at least in world soccer, the talent is spread out over the world,
Right.
and in the NHL, in World of Hockey, I think the talent is more concentrated in the NHL, and to a lesser extent in the
It's
KHL.
NHL, KHL, a little bit in the Liga, and then I'd say NHL is here, then the KHL is like here, maybe a little bit higher. Then Liga is like a little below that, and then everything else is.
But it would be an interesting concept. And now at the point where I'm just throwing all the rules out the window and I'm going to redefine the sport of hockey.
Do it.
You get rid of the draft. Because think about how many of those players in world football come through what would be a draft type of thing. So, like, say, like, I don't know, like, you make a deal with, like, the QMJHL or whatever, like, Owen Powers, or, like, just, like, Alex Nylander comes over from, like, whatever one of the leagues in Sweden, and then, like, you send, like, $1 million back to them, and, like, that's how you get your prospects.
And that allows them to reinvest to make their program better.
Yeah.
So that way you can get higher quality, junior players to develop that way.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. The only tough part would be how the NCAA would factor in with that.
Yeah.
Because, it might be easy for them because they're a greedy organization and they love money.
So. They love money.
Yeah, sure. You can pay us all this money. You want Jack Eichel? Here, take him for $15 million to like reinvest in BU's program, and then
look, this solves many issues because then, like, you give a little bit of money to the player, but then you can reinvest that into paying all the other student athletes in the country.
Yes, like that would be massive because, as you just said, like we don't want to pay the student athletes. Well, now you're getting money from a professional league. You can use that money to pay the student athletes. I'm sure there's some legal things that they would need to work through before that would happen. But once you figure all that out, that would be an easy way of getting the money for them.
Yeah. Like, imagine the Sabres just getting fed up with trade negotiations, and they say Australian Hockey League.
There you go. It's that simple.
Like, I don't know if there actually is an Australian Hockey League, but to lift you guys behind the curtain, we just learned some crazy stuff about the Azerbaijani Soccer League, so anything is possible at this point.
Exactly. Anything. In the world of sports, you never know what can happen.
No. And I've always been a big fan of this in all sports. We need some sort of relegation. So, you know what? Just mix up the world of sports. Who cares? It's entertainment. Let's have fun with it.
After becoming such a big football fan, I always now find it weird that in American sports, you get rewarded for sucking.
Yes. It's the complete opposite of how everything else works.
Exactly. Oh no, you finished 20th in the Premier League? Sorry, you got relegated. Oh no, you finished dead last in the NHL? Well, now you're going to get a top 3 draft pick. It's so backwards, but like we're so used to it at this point that it's like ingrained in American culture.
Right, like the Jets and the Jaguars should like be playing.
Exactly.
Like Georgia and Alabama should be playing an NFL schedule.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Exactly, like a minor league type system like that. Like,
yeah, I mean, baseball is the one that it's set up perfectly, but I guess it's a little different because they're their own players for the own organization.
And also,
but that's an easy fix. This is always an easy fix for me.
Like, also the whole thing with baseball is that minor league baseball is absolutely notorious for being complete jerks with pay and travel and hotel and
Here we go. Allow this even works even better. Allow the Mets to go and sell Pete Alonso to the KBO and to like a Korean team, and then the Mets can reinvest some of that money into the minor leagues.
perfect. You solved the major league or the minor league baseball payment crisis.
You know, I've always been an innovator, and I'm here to help whoever needs help.
That is perfect.
All right, quick before the season starts, Stanley Cup final prediction. Boom.
Colorado in the West.
The Jack Johnson led Colorado Avalanche.
The Jack Johnson led Colorado Avalanche. Florida Panthers.
Ooh.
We're gonna have a rematch of what was it, 95?
95, yeah, yeah.
96 Stanley Cup, whichever that was. Yeah, Colorado, Florida.
I like it. You know, as long as Florida doesn't have to play the Islanders in the playoffs, they're good.
As long as Florida starts Spencer Knight in the playoffs, they're good.
Wait, you don't like Bobrovsky? Officer Bobrovsky?
Having watched him play against the Islanders in the playoffs?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah. Or they could start the recapture penalty of Roberto Luongo.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm sticking with that though. Florida in the East, Colorado in the West.
Joe, thanks for coming on. I wish the Islanders all of the worst. I hope Frankie Borelli cries himself to sleep at night. I laugh that you guys won't play a home game until November. And worst of luck to you. I hope you finish last in the Metro.
I appreciate all those kind words. No matter what happens, we can't be worse than Jim Benning.
That is.
Who, by the way, still hasn't re-signed Elias Pettersson yet, so we'll leave you with that little tidbit.
If anyone's got any NHL GMs are out there,
and Quinn Hughes.
If any NHL GMs are out there and want to get funky again with an offer sheet, Elias Pettersson's available.
Yep. One team go for Pettersson, have Jersey go for Quinn Hughes, get all the Hughes brothers together. It's perfect.
Perfect. It's just a Hughes triumvirate over there.
Absolutely.
Joe, tell everyone where they can find you.
So you can find me on Twitter. My handle is MooseJJM. I also stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/MooseJJM. I stream fun games. I'll be streaming FIFA when it comes out. Don't know when I'm going to be in NHL, but I'll probably stream it when I get it. I do a lot of single-player games. I do a lot of just fun. I started a Minecraft server with some friends, so we've been doing that recently. So just a whole bunch of like fun stuff. If you want to if you're into games, you want to hang out, you want to chill, talk games, talk sports, talk anime, talk whatever, feel free to find that. Twitch.tv/MooseJJM.
Yeah, it was great. He did a stream for Islanders Game 7 against the Lightning, and to watch the soul leave his body live
it was perfection. I didn't move for about 5 minutes after the final horn.
Yeah, no, he was dead, and I was just sitting there laughing. On that note, thanks for joining us here on Honest Hockey. I'm Tom. That's Joe. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and don't forget, let's go Rangers!
Islanders.
See you guys.